So it has been so long since my last update, and obviously I have given birth since then. And today I am going to talk to you guys about my labor and delivery, how it went, and all the things that came in between. So, after my last update, about a week or two after, I had started getting like itchy legs and stuff. Everything was just getting itchy. It was crazy. So I mentioned it to the doctor at my next appointment, and he said that it was normal. That happens with the blood flow and the hormones and everything else, and your skin stretching. So being itchy is pretty normal, which I assumed it was, but just to make sure, telling my doctor all my symptoms. And about a week after that, the itching had gone to a whole other level. I was clawing my skin right off my body. I was drawing blood. I was so itchy I couldn't handle it. I ended up going into emergency on a Sunday night, and I was almost 36 weeks pregnant. No, I was 36 weeks pregnant. So we go into emergency and they check me and they said it's an allergic reaction. They're going to give me some Benadryl and send me home. But before they could give me Benadryl, a little note popped up on their computer saying they had to test me for this thing because I was pregnant. So this thing was cholestasis of pregnancy. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. It's crazy. But anyway, it's a super rare thing that pregnant women could get in the third trimester. And so they do the blood work to check your liver enzymes, and mine were super high, but they said not to worry, they're just going to prescribe me the Benadryl and send me home. The next day, the Monday morning, my doctor had called because they got the report from emergency, and my doctor had called and said, you need to come in right now. This isn't normal. So obviously I was panicking, and I didn't know what to think, of course. And so my husband and I, we went in. They did more blood work, and they had determined that I had this rare condition, cholestasis of pregnancy, which is where my doctor was calling it a lazy liver. So it's where your liver just basically gets lazy and stops filtering out the crap from your blood as well. And the only cure for it is delivery. So at that point, and there's no just sticking it out until the baby comes, because the chances of going full term, like all the way to the 40 weeks with cholestasis, your chances of having a stillbirth are incredibly high. So obviously nobody wanted that. They wanted to get the baby out as soon as possible. So they did more blood work, they did ultrasounds, they monitored the baby, and they said, okay, by Wednesday we're going to induce you, and we're going to get the baby out of there. Because Wednesday I was supposed to be 37 weeks, and at my hospital they don't deliver before 37 weeks. And if they have to, they send you to the city for an emergency cesarean. So that was that. Wednesday, we had planned to go in and get induced, but I had to go back Tuesday for more blood work and monitoring to make sure the baby was okay. And they were really strong on making sure that I was counting the kicks and making sure the baby was moving fine while I was at home, which is normal because I believe in the third trimester you should be doing that anyway. So Tuesday we went in for more blood work and they did more tests just to make sure everything was going good. And then Wednesday was my scheduled induction. So we went in for the the beginning of the process. And the doctors were a bit skeptical. They wanted to make sure I was exactly 37 weeks. They didn't want to take any chances. So they ended up calling specialists in the city and more tests on top of it, more blood work, I had ultrasounds. And they had determined that I was only going to be 37 weeks on Friday. So they weren't going to induce me before Friday. Okay. So, man, more to deal with. So what they had done was the plan was to give me a steroid shot on the Wednesday and then come back on Thursday to make sure the baby was okay. And I'd get a second steroid shot to help develop the baby's lungs quicker. So we did that Wednesday. And I'm telling you, a steroid shot hurts so bad. It was almost as bad as the contractions, pretty much. Call me a baby, but it hurt. So Thursday we went back, got more steroid shot, another steroid shot, and they did more monitoring and everything else. And everything was good. So Friday we were good to go. We had our bags packed Friday. My husband didn't go to work. Everything was set up. Friday morning we packed our stuff just in case because we didn't know what to expect. And we went in and they monitored everything. Everything was going good, so they were ready for the induction. So to start the process of induction, they were going to insert this tampon-like gel and attach it to my cervix, which will thin it. So that tampon-like thing was supposed to stay in there for 12 hours after they inserted it. And then, well, they said you home after. And then at home, after 12 hours, you can just pull it out. And they said you should just have maybe mild cramping, nothing too serious. Okay, that's fine. By the time we got home from the hospital, after they started the induction, I was having severe cramps. It hurt so bad. And so we thought maybe they were contractions, so I was trying to time them. But I didn't know I wasn't sure if it was a contraction because I couldn't tell. There was no rest period where I assumed contractions were to time them apart. There'd be a rest period where they wouldn't, So there was no rest period. We ended up calling the hospital and explaining to them what was going on, the situation, and how much pain I was in. And I was in tears at this point. So we go to the hospital, and they monitored me, and I was having contractions 2 minutes apart constantly. So they pulled out the gel, which had only been in there for 4 hours, and they waited to see if the contractions would slow down. They didn't slow down, so they ended up giving me some morphine to help control it a little bit. The morphine was amazing. At that point, they had registered me and we were going to stay until the baby was born. So Friday night was amazing. I had morphine. I had the best sleep of my life. It was fantastic. I woke up and I was refreshed. I had breakfast. And I'm like, okay, I can do this. This is easy peasy. The doctor went in to see how much had thinned and what needed to be done. And he ended up breaking my water while he was in there. And they were going to wait before they started the IV induction part. And so that was the plan. Within half an hour, my contractions were back up to 2 minutes apart. All day. They ended up not giving me the full induction, they never gave me the IV. I just went into labor. So, all day, contractions 2 minutes apart, all day. They'd go in and check to see how dilated I was. And my initial plan was to do this all natural, no drugs, nothing, just go in and push it out. And everything was going to be good. But by 3:30, I couldn't take it anymore at all. So I was, okay, what are my options, you know? So I ended up getting fentanyl in my IV every 5 minutes for maybe half an hour. And then I couldn't do it. I said I wanted more. So they said, we can try the laughing gas. And at that point, I was in so much pain. I just said, get me the epidural and the laughing gas. I want it all. I want everything. I'm in pain. So they started with the laughing gas while we were waiting for the anesthesiologist. And I don't know if I was panicking because I was in so much pain I wouldn't be able to stay still for the epidural. But I don't remember getting the epidural. I don't remember the anesthesiologist coming upstairs. I just remember having that laughing gas on my face and just breathing heavily. So after I got the epidural, that's the next thing I remember is them testing to see how much feeling I have. And then by 4:20, our little baby was delivered. So right after the epidural, I was ready to start pushing. And it went amazing. The pushing went very well. Noah came out beautiful, strong, 7 pounds, 14 ounces. Absolutely perfect. I couldn't have been more happy. The doctor we had that was delivering was phenomenal. He even he was making people laugh while I was delivering. So I wasn't laughing, but in the back of my head now I'm like, oh, that was a funny joke. So that is how my delivery went. We ended up staying in the hospital for an extra 24 hours because they wanted to monitor my blood, make sure that my enzymes were going back to normal. And they were, and I was healing faster than usual. Like my white blood cells were really high and reproducing very quickly. And everything was going amazing. Even after the epidural, I was able to get up and walk within 2 hours. And I got a fussy little boy here today. But everything was perfect, and I had started breastfeeding at the hospital. That was the plan. And everything was going well. But then there was issues behind that, but I'm only going to talk about that I'm going to do a 2-month postpartum update because it has been 2 months. So that video will be following this one. I hope you enjoyed my labor and delivery story. If there's anyone who has had the cholestasis of pregnancy, I'd like to hear your story. How serious was it? And hopefully everything went well for you. I couldn't have imagined losing him at that point. I would have been so devastated and heartbroken. So if you want to share your story, let me know. I'd love to listen. I'd love to hear it. So, gotta stop saying so. Well, I'm gonna let you guys go there, and I will be back with my 2-month postpartum update and how I'm doing, how baby's doing. And I'll see you then. Bye, guys.